Okay, so in another video, we explored this home screen and these different tabs, landing on the Create and Edit button. So we're going to click it again. Again, we see My Forms, but we went over that in another video. Now we'll go over to the Content Creator. So the Content Creator tool is what we'll use to start making lessons, combining different digital assets like 3D models. It can be audio, it can also be previous recordings. And again, we talk about recordings in another tutorial on the VEDX YouTube page. But what we're going to do now is go ahead and load a scene that I've done previously and show you an overview of what the content creator can do. Okay, so the scene is loading now. So I just want to quickly say that the content creator, the aspects of the content creator I'm talking about will be an overview. So I'm not going to go into great detail into any one specific aspect of the content creator. I'm only going to show you the basic functionalities. So if you want to go ahead and explore more, Engage does have some tutorials to help you out. But yeah, this is just a way to get you started, to learn the basics of how you would use the content creator and what you could do to set up a very basic lesson. So here what you see is the menu. So making it disappear and come back. So this menu, as you see, it has a timeline along the top. So a timeline along the top and these different, let's call them channels. And if you are familiar with any kind of video editing tools or animation tools, this could look familiar to you. But if this is completely new, do not panic. I will explain it in just a moment. So yeah, this timer on the top just shows the time at which something happens. So for example, you see the title helicopter dark logo. So and you have this blue marker here. When I push on the play button here, the blue marker moves, and look over there. A helicopter appeared, okay? So a helicopter appeared because that's when we had planned to have it there. So I'm going to show you how I got that done in just a moment. So let's look at the first channel. So from this point on the timeline all the way to just past a minute, the helicopter will be there. So let's say we want to change the helicopter to something else. We could do it on the same timeline or the same channel here or a different one along the timeline. Yeah, sorry. The buttons are a bit tricky, I find. They're a bit stubborn, so you may need to push things a few times, but don't get frustrated. So let's say we want to change our helicopter into a dinosaur of some type. So let's go ahead and do a velociraptor. Why not? A velociraptor. We're going to put that velociraptor here, even in the same space, right? We're not going to change anything about it. We're just putting the velociraptor there. So if we wanted to, we could move it on the same channel here. Or move it to the next one. I'm going to move it to the next one. So okay, let's zoom out a bit. Okay, so clicked on it, gonna move it down. And again, the buttons are a bit stubborn, we shall say. So I'll go ahead and expand it along this channel. Expand it. And then move it this way. Okay, so again, on the top we do have our helicopter, and then here on the third one, we have our velociraptor. So let's move ourselves forward in time just a bit so we don't need to wait too long. And yeah, let's push play and see what happens. So our helicopter is there. The start button I'll talk about in a moment. And there, our velociraptor has appeared and the helicopter has disappeared, okay? So hopefully that gives you some idea of how the timeline works and how we make animations appear and disappear at different points. So using my thumbstick, I can navigate this space, moving myself around, moving myself closer, and let's go ahead and click on the velociraptor. Oops, we've gone too far. Our dinosaur has disappeared. So let's bring it back. Let's click on it. And yeah, there we go. Okay, so when we click on it, we get an option to edit. We have move, which allows us to move it. Clone, which allows us to get a copy of it. But we're going to do the second option, which is gizmo. So there are other tutorials on the gizmo specifically, but just to say, this is the main way that we will manipulate different objects in the space. So the first thing we can do is the translate. And if you have some experience with game engines, this will look familiar, but if you don't, nothing to worry about. So we just move these arrows to position our 3D object where we would like. So we click on this button again, and now suddenly we can rotate. We can spin it in circles, even upside down. Yeah, it's dancing for us. That's very nice. So click on it again, and the last one is scaling. So we can make our dinosaur bigger or smaller. Of course, we want it to be smaller because the big one is quite threatening, okay? All right, so then we close it, and voila, we have a harmless little velociraptor. Small enough to be a pet, so very, very nice. All right, so let's go back to our content creator tools. So if you look around, you'll see a few different things. So we've done IFX already. Previously, I'd done it to produce a helicopter, and just now we did the velociraptor as well. The clone tool we saw both directly in editing, but we can do it here as well. So do cloning of different objects. You can do forms at specific points. So, for example, these are the forms that we have to work with right now. This test one we did in a previous video. So if you wanted to go ahead and put that into time it so that it would appear at a certain point as the content is playing, then you can do that as well. And if you look closely, you would see that also the things that we did previously, transforming, rotating, and scaling, those can be done here as well. So let's go ahead and talk about triggers. So triggers like this one are used to, as the name suggests, trigger specific reactions. So for example, we have a start button. So when we select it, yeah, we can make changes to it. But as we're playing, like if we select it, I think I need to get rid of the menu. And here we go. There we go. I had to get rid of the menu. Excuse me. Okay. So after you give us some kind of... Okay, so let's say the recording is over. But during this... Here, let's pause that. Okay, so as you see, the trigger that appears here, if you are playing, like if you're playing in the space, but the menu is closed, you can use that button, and that button will trigger a certain response. So it can make an object appear, but in this case, it made the recording appear. And if you did watch the other video, specifically on making recordings, that character there would be very familiar to you. Okay, so since we're on the topic of recordings, let's go ahead and look at those as well. So I have 2 recordings on this particular headset. If you don't know what I mean by that, do check my other video. But let's put the big numbers recording in here as well. Okay, hello everyone. So there we go. So we have the big numbers recording. So this appears on the timeline. So I want it to be on its own separate one. So I'll click on it and then try to move it down. There we go. And
1,000.
Yeah, there
kilometers.
We go. So you can play that at
So
specific
I want you
points
to
as
imagine that number right now.
And yeah, that's very useful.
How
and
many
it kind
commas
of ties together
are in that number?
Yeah, let's stop it. And it ties together everything I've been talking about here. So, the thing with recordings is if you administer a form during a recording, then it will be administered here as well. So it will deliver the forms to you just as if you're playing the recording alone. Okay? So I hope this was helpful in giving an overview of how to use the content creator and what can be done. As I said, there are tutorials offered by the Engage platform itself that go into greater detail on each of the different aspects because there is quite a lot to learn. But if you're just looking to get started really quickly, then perhaps this was enough. So good luck with that. And once you've done with the content creation, like everything that you've done, well, of course, it should be saved. So we'll save it here. And there you go. So it's saved, but it's saved locally on your headset. It will not be saved on the Engage servers. Those have to be uploaded at the moment through the upload team at Engage. So do go ahead and email them directly. But in the future, that may change as well, so that you can upload content that you can share with your specific account or with everyone in Engage generally. But for now, you would share it by just saving the file and then sending it as a file to other people. But anyway, I digress. So thank you for watching the tutorial. And yeah, if you do have any questions, just leave them in the comments and I may make another video in response. Okay, bye-bye.